Can you grow out your hair in prison? Is a shaved head part of the punishment? Here's what we know. Disbarred South Carolina lawyer Alec Murdaugh looked very different in his recent mugshot than he did in his last court appearance. He'd received 2 consecutive life sentences for the 2021 murder of his wife and son, Maggie and Paul Murdaugh. The picture was taken as Murdaugh checked into the Kirkland Reception and Evaluation Center in South Carolina, where Murdaugh will be evaluated before he is assigned a permanent prison location. Notably, Murdaugh's head was shaved in the photo, which is a common practice for some but not all prison systems. In the photo, the former lawyer also wore a yellow jumpsuit, similar to the beige jail-issued jumpsuit he wore in the courtroom.
For the rest of your natural life, those sentences will run consecutive.
There are a few reasons why people's heads are shaved before they enter prison in some areas. Primarily, this is for hygiene considerations, as well as helping prepare the prisoner for the psychological and emotional reality of their life behind bars. In many places, having a convicted person's head shaved during prison intake is required by law. Head shaving can also be a means of forcing conformity, erasing the individuality people evoke through hairstyles. It's also the kickoff to years of strict rules that make up life in prison. All that said, it seems that the practice in the US only applies to people entering men's prisons. However, no federal law mandates the practice. State prisons make their own rules. In fact, the Federal Bureau of Prisons does not require head shaving for incarcerated people, and they can choose how they want to wear their hair and even have it long as they keep it clean and hygienic. However, in South Carolina, a man's head is shaved upon intake, and during his years in incarceration, he cannot grow it out past an inch long, according to that state's Department of Corrections. Still, there are a few practical reasons people have their head shaved behind bars in some legal systems. Per the Virginian Pilot, in close-quarter prison settings, shaved heads help prevent the spread of lice and cut down on other hygiene issues. Illicit items like drugs and weapons can also be hidden in long hair and beards, and a distinctive hairstyle or facial hair can provide an easy means for imprisoned people to change their appearance should they escape. Speaking with NBC News, New York State Corrections Department head Harold Clark said in 2011, "We're not doing it just because we can. It's been done because it raises some security issues and concerns." Head shaving is just one aspect of how some prison systems take a person out of society and work to mold them into their new roles as people whose names are replaced by numbers. The various rigors of prison intake are the first steps in forcing people convicted of crimes to emotionally and psychologically adjust to their new life of incarceration. However, hair is an important symbol, and in some cultures, long hair has deep religious significance. For this reason, the requirement that people in prison have their heads shaved has become controversial among certain incarcerated populations in some states. In Rastafarianism, for example, shaved head policies have been challenged as religious persecution. Speaking with NBC News, one Rastafari New York State inmate likened shaved heads behind bars, among other policies, a form of, quote, psychological warfare. On those grounds, in 2009, Prison Legal News reported that New York State's head shaving policy was ruled unconstitutional. However, in South Carolina, where convicted murderer Alec Murdaugh is sentenced to life behind bars, the state's requirement that prisoners maintain short hair and remain cleanly shaven was upheld. At Kirkland Reception and Evaluation Center, once Murdaugh's head was shaved, he would also undergo medical and psychological testing among other types of assessments as well. On Murdaugh's new life in prison, trial attorney Robert Rickard said of Kirkland Reception and Evaluation Center in a tweet, "These are brutal environments, and it will be quite a shock after the privileged life he has lived."